Yes, and greetings, y'all. Yes, as you can tell by the title, we going in on the subject with AI and OI, and I feel like a lot of people are like, when is AI going to take over? How long do we have until it's all up in our face? And it's a whole new world. Yeah, I feel like that that's a great question, but it's how long do we have until we get our ish together? Like the native original intelligence, that they have been programmed within us to think that it's evil. Yes, so the mission is getting back to our native intelligence that has been demonized. Like everything black is evil, right? But every religion really knows that the darkness is the mother, you know. We can call it mitochondrial DNA, all of that. The black woman, the black space, the black womb, black mind, like all of it, the darkness is, going, right? It all goes back to darkness. For instance, we wake up and we see the white light, the sun's out, all of that. We live our best lives, go to work, do the whole 9 to 5 thing, the regular schmegular, right? Then we get ready for bed, the sun sets, and we go back into darkness. But we wouldn't truly know what darkness is because, we are in people's citadels, in the cities, where lampposts are bright up, and we can't sleep properly because it's so bright. So yes, we do need dark and thick, curtains and whatnot, so we can have proper sleep. And that is also part of our nervous system. We need both the light and dark light. We are speaking English, so it is a whole lot of, like business jargon, instead of like the ancestral languages, which is symbolic, right? So we need to tap into these symbols. Signs and symbols are for the subconscious mind. So these people know through what is that called? Propaganda, that it's signs and symbols that program us. We need to know those signs and symbols. That is a language, an ancestral language. When we dream, it's all images. Why we're so connected to these, it's because it's images. These are signs and symbols. Signs and symbols are like even ancient medicine, with for instance traditional Chinese medicine. These are all symbols: wood, metal, water, fire, all symbols of where it's hurting, where it's where the disease is. These are all signs and symbols, right? It's not anything elaborate, like you have to memorize a term that's Italian, and you just don't got it, and that's what they have over you. But no, it's a simple, like the most simplest language is symbols, images. Like, we see it within our mind, like what symbol our ancestors need for us to see at that time, that another person does, through a shirt, through a song, through a whatever, you know. These are languages that are important for our well-being, to get back to our original intelligence. So we're talking about languages here, and also what brings us back to our, and also the climate, like not climate but like the seasons, and like the seasons are even in the day, so there's like the nighttime, like dry season. I don't know how to explain this, but you know what I mean, directions and stuff, right? So the sun goes up, it goes down, the light, the shade, like we need all of that for us to grow. intelligently, like cosmically. We are cosmic beings. What do we think we are? We just think like we're humans and that's it. We're also in the stars, on a planet, in the universe, you know, like in the cosmos. We are cosmic beings. We are not as little as we've been programmed to think of ourselves, because our grander self is cosmic, right? So that's why, like, with a regulated nervous system, you would go back to your cosmic self. Um, and not go back into like the toxic things that, you know, like outsource your intelligence, you know?
Like AI,
Yes, like AI, right? Like all of this intelligence is from us. You know, like Dr. Lalila Africa would say that everything that's been created is from our human body, you know, this human intelligence, this cosmic intelligence. Everything, you know, that they're trying to recreate is from this creative intelligence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, sorry, do you want to go?
Oh yeah, this yeah, this that creative intelligence, that's the God intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
AI can never take God, away from us. It's
Mm-hmm.
trying to, but it's always going to be artificialized and articulated, because we can pull from a source that AI can never pull from, and that is a key into what is going to separate us from AI. No matter how advanced it gets, it's going to need always going to need us, who is more closer to God, in order to pull and create patterns and compute and
Predictions,
predict things, facial recognition, etc. You know, it's
cognition,
gonna have patterns, and then it's those people that are considered autistic or whatever it is, and just outlandish. It's that, like, it's pulled from that kind of mental spectrum where it's not a normal spectrum. A lot of us, we're being normalized, we're being compartmentalized, and we're not fully fashioning our own gifts, because we don't want to look crazy and whatnot. Because a lot of us, we seem like we are who we are, but we can really, if we were truly our organic selves, we'd be a lot different. A lot of us are coming from a very cookie cutter, mind frame and like day to day frame of life, you know, and we gotta pull from that pure creative source. And yes, you're gonna look autistic. You're gonna look crazy trying to just trying to just get it out of you, like you see in the ancient, indigenous people, how they'll be speaking in tongues and doing certain things and just doing things that are out of the norm, you know, in order to invoke. Because doing these certain kind of movements, incantations, and chants helps you channel in a different code, original code. By doing these certain kind of particular movements that are just out of the ordinary and are contained within a ceremonial environment. When we
mm-hmm.
get back to our ceremonies, we get back to our ancestral venerations. Because right now, this current day-to-day life that we live and normally live, we need to change that and break out of that in order to find the right divine codes. The
Mm-hmm.
codes are not coming in through living these day-to-day mundane lives. They're not.
Well, they are, you know, because you can't
Can't
stop God.
stop it.
Can't
Yes,
stop it.
I know, but like working 9 to 5 and all that, like yeah,
Can't
it's gonna
stop
still
it.
seep through,
You
but like
know.
we can accelerate these
Yes.
codes at a higher vibrational frequency by doing more organic things,
Mm-hmm.
by following our intuition more. A lot of times it may lead to places where it's like, okay, this sounds kind of wild, like what, middle of desert Mexico or something, I don't know. We don't know, because it's beyond logic, and AI needs logic. A good example is, one example was in Star Trek, the android. The android was a a biological computer machine thing, and one day the android was dating a female.
Sorry.
And of course we know females at times can be moving from very intuitive places where you just don't know, it don't make sense. So that was the only episode in Star Trek when android look the most malfunctioned. That's our only episode.
Mhm.
So a lot. So and females naturally they hold more and are more positioned in order to move from a more intuitive place. So they're gonna do things that's very looks out of whack, looks erratic, or how you want to put it.
Not so predictive.
You know, and because they're pulling from source, they're forced to pull from source. They're forced to the womb technology they have. They're
Hmm.
forced to. So that's a key component right there is following our divine feminine energy, our Venusian energy, our moon energy, in order to attract what we need, to manifest.
Hmm. Right. So, although we are thinking about how the future will look like, and just, progression is the future and everything, but um, with this video, um, it is the future is going back. And it's very interesting how, like, all this technology, it's not from the future, it's from the past,
Mm-hmm.
right? This is old technology being used with, certain intentions and whatnot, right? So we and our mechanics, um like, its progression in the future will look like going back. The gifts that our ancestors had, they gave us, they weren't worried about what the future would look like. Why? Because they know the fire will burn. They give us the torch to carry, like, forward. Okay. So again, like, we are cultivating our organic intelligence. That is the whole point. Okay, cool. AI is already at its, like, amazing whatever, cool. That's great. But again, we're outsourcing. We're looking outside of ourselves. We need to
Insource.
progress within ourselves. Right? There are so many gifts that go, like, kind of overlooked, like, oh,
Plenty of symbols and signs. Plenty
yes.
that we
Or we'll
overlooking.
have
So they get messed
thoughts,
up.
or we'll think about someone and they show up at our door, they call us, all of that, that go overlooked. And they aren't cultivated within ourselves by being in stillness. We're always trying to be busy, get that
Mm.
CEO job, be that
That's six
CEO,
figures.
that six figures, yes, that seven figure, whatever, not that I'm saying that, getting your bit, your body's needs taken care of is, like, not it, but it's that, and taking care of our inner world. We know we have an inner world, AI doesn't.
And it shouldn't be only a 7-day retreat to take care of your inner world. That's all you're gonna do 7 days out of the whole quote unquote year.
And honestly, I feel like retreats are, anyways, it's not about that. Okay. It's about carrying the torch that our ancestors gave us. Again, they weren't worried about the colonizer coming in. And, yeah, they may put up a fight because, you got to, you're human. Like, your ego, your self is to protect your body, nonetheless, right? So, the future is the past, right? Where we didn't need to outsource.
Yeah,
We
we
were
don't need an AI.
self-sustaining, self-governing, so we had our self-authority, and all of that is gained through stillness, through attention. And we notice that we don't have much of an attention span nowadays, right? There's TikTok, like, I'm sure they do long videos, but regardless, like, these really short videos show, like, the really short attention span that we have, which would have us outsourcing outside of ourselves. Like, with meditation, it teaches you to sit with yourself for longer. Choose your emotions, teaches you to sit with yourself longer. Like, we're just like, okay, cool, I'm angry, I have to move on. No, your body has to move through it. So that is a great practice if you want to learn, through sadness, happiness, all these emotions. Our emotions, they come and they go. right? So we have to learn to sit with those. We need to teach our children how to sit with those. That is how we gain attention, you know, um, within ourselves, right? Um, Irritation, frustration, you get it, okay? Depression, oh, I wish my life was like this or whatever. That's not how nature goes. It comes, it goes. I know we're human. We're like trying to find the meaning and everything like that. But sometimes it's just like, it is what it is. And it sucks. It really does suck, you know? And yes, we'll have memories that kind of come back and we're like, oh, but what? You know? Okay, you know, like you sit with that, you know? You give it a hug, whatever, and you're like, okay, you gotta go now. You gotta go. Okay. Um, but yeah, again, it's important to know that this is all ancestral work that we're doing, you know. We are the ancestors, you know. Again, we are carrying the torch for our future, for the future, whatever it may look like, you know. But we are burning that fire within, so it's closer to our kins, you know, that fire within us, and not so far away as it may seem, you know. Anyway, so it's being comfortable with nothing. And I know a lot of people are scared of nothing, okay? It's deafening. Silence is golden and deafening, you know? And it can be even groundless, okay?
Both literally and metaphorically.
Yes, you know? But that's where you find, not where you find, that's where you meet what you're supposed to meet, you know? And of course, we have an imagination that's just like, yeah, but what if this? What if that? I don't know. We're trying something new. We're not going to be great at it. Sometimes we have to go back and then taste it again, you know? Kind of like retoxing, just to be like, okay, okay. You know, like ground yourself again. But we need to learn to inhabit our bodies, like actually ground ourselves within our bodies and not look for ground beneath us, you know. That is the mission. And every other gift that comes with that, you know, like that's a bonus. But that's something that AI can't, whatever. We're not caring about AI. We're caring about going back to our native intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And what I also wanted to share is, in ancestral, you know, like communications and whatnot, like they talked about how dis-ease starts when you separate yourself from your native intelligence. That's how all disease starts, when you move away from your spiritual being, which is breath.
Mm.
But, you know, nonetheless, like it is um not, how do I say, not living in your body, actually staying in your body, but also the grand scheme of things. Like sometimes we do need to see like the bigger picture. And you know, this like little pebble sand, like, you know, a grain of sand kind of scheme of things, but also, you know, the micro and the macro, you know. um but yeah, I wanted to share that that is how disease starts, when we are separate from um our spiritual being, our energetic self, our light body, our
That's
whatever
how
you want to call it.
AI starts.
Mm-hmm. Right? Exactly. That is how artificial intelligence. And now we're Walking Dead. We're the Walking Dead. Like, yeah, we're breathing, moving, you know, doing very like, how do you call it?
Mechanical,
Like when you're
normal.
on, like, what is that called? Like like your body moves, you don't have to think, kind of thing.
Yeah, autopilot.
Autopilot, you know. Like you're not conscious within your body. You don't feel your like one organ breathing and the other not. Like that grand grandeur of like being conscious and aware within your body, you know? And so much more. And so much more. I couldn't tell you because it's beyond me. Um but it's all me. And it's you. Because I am, because you are, because we are, you know? Um yeah, so I just wanted to share that thought with Baba Zoe because he was just thinking like, where is this gonna be, you know, like when, like so we can get ready. I'm like, we should be getting ready to, you know, go within our inner world, work on our inner world, you know, like it's with us all day every day, you know, like by playing um here. It's learning here. It learns in our dream world, in our meditation, all of that. You know, we're all learning here. We're all learning responsibility. We're all learning how to power up, how to be in stillness, that like how to breathe, how to breathe, how to move, how to control our bodies. You know, like brahmacharya, like that's what you're learning about yourself. You
That's
know,
for next video.
yeah. um but just wanted to share that, yo, stop worrying about what's happening outside of you and worry, like not worry but
Mm.
like, you know, like dive into yourself, like within you, within
Mm.
here, you know, like of course our parents, they weren't perfect, you know, they did outsource and whatever they were going through, they probably, you know, thought like, you know, like they were contributing to a better world in some
Grass is
way,
greener
you know, and that's okay,
on the
that's
outside and
okay.
inside.
But like we have that torch, they passed us that torch. We can't keep like hindering ourselves by the stories we tell ourselves every day. We're so much grander than that. And of course, yes, we need to ground into this world and be of service to each other. Um, but the whole point is to work on one's inner self and inner world. Like we all have our own perception because we all have our own inner world that we cater to every day. And we have that chance with every breath, every thought, every moment, you know? So we have to come back to stillness. That's where it all is. That's where the power is within ourselves, you know? Yo, get these flies out of my baby's face. um, but yeah, I again, the ancestors. We're
Excuse me.
going back to the ancients and what they did. You know, shoot, we didn't have to lift up a finger to get some things done. You know, I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that and leave with that. You can go out now.
Yeah, that's it for me too. You know, I press the record button because you know we going off online, you know, offline. Like you got to, you
Yeah.
know, record some of this for y'all, some, you know, some of that real raw whilst in transition.
hmm
But yeah,
Yeah. Let us know what you think. You know, or don't think. I don't know, man. Just
excuse me.
I hope this is a great reminder to do what you gotta do. You know, make that inner world rich, wealthy. We're trying to be wealthy here, but we know that it's slower here. You know, doing dream work, like, you know, when you're conscious in within yourself, in the dream, in the spirit world, because you know the higher spaces, it's faster. It's faster. You know, and here it's a little bit slower. You know, Earth, she grinds slowly. You know, um, but yeah, you know, take care of your heart, take care of your space, your mind, your heart's mind. You know, we heal in darkness, dawn the light. See you there. Or not.
The real light, the
Yeah,
organic,
the organic light. You know.
native light,
Yes.
not the CFLs, LEDs, you know, LCDs.
That's it. You know, like there's nowhere else that you'd rather be. Um, but here now, with it within yourself, your whole self, wholeness, we come with wholeness. Not in pieces, y'all. Not in pieces, not fragmented. The goal is wholeness, to become whole, you know? So, with that being said,